Directed me. All right. So I was saying that the topic of today is time management, delegation, and what was the last one? And organizational skills. Now, the reason why they are lumped to those three things are lumped together is because it is very important. It is very important that you have those three skills for you to be an effective leader. It is super important. You cannot lead if you don't know how to manage your time. That's why a lot of people are always overwhelmed and they say, oh, I have too much to do right now. A friend of mine was saying, oh, she would like to lead in WOW, but she's in school, she has toddlers, she has this, she has that, she's just overwhelmed. And I was like, I didn't argue much, because sometimes you have to come to the realization that you might be lacking in your time management skills, in your delegation skills, or in your organizational skills. So those are the kind of things to talk about. But like Sister Blessing said earlier when we started, she was talking about procrastination. When you procrastinate, sometimes when you do that, what happens is that it steals your time, because the time that would have been very useful to you, right? The time that you'd have been very organized. What then happens is that you now push that time into something else, and then you now need your adrenaline to keep running. All right. I think I've lost people on Telegram. Telegram people, can you still hear me? Okay, Telegram, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm back. I don't need this. Okay, so yeah, okay, I lost them on Telegram, and I think I've lost them again. What's going on with Telegram today? All right, please, can someone on Zoom help me tell people on Telegram? Okay, please, Telegram people, I'm losing you here, and I don't know what's wrong with Telegram today. So if you're having issues, just join us on Zoom, so that you don't miss out on anything. Okay. So because Sister Blessing had talked about procrastination, so I just wanted to answer her question and jump into talking about it before I go back to start again. So from scientific study of human nature, right, and human beings, right, it is said that procrastination is not the absence of urgency, right? Or the absence of self-discipline or all of that, that it actually stems from a disorder, right? And it can be an emotional disorder or a structural disorder. That means that your emotions overwhelm you to the point where you cannot do what you should do at the right time, and there's something called emotional deregulation. That means that you cannot by yourself regulate your emotions, right? So they say it can be an emotional issue, or just a structural issue. It means that you haven't structured yourself properly so that you are able to do things accordingly. These two things also stem from, you can look at it stemming from just the point of us putting ourselves to work, right? So I'm going to repeat that again. Procrastination is said to not be a time management issue. It's not that you are disorganized. It might be just an emotional issue. You're not able to control your emotions so that you can do what you are supposed to do when you are supposed to do it, right? Or it is a structural issue in the sense that you haven't built structure into your life. When you have structure as an adult, it means that you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, right? So that is what is expected of adults. Adults are expected to be able to function in structural environments, right? So when you are very disorganized, again, it shows that you haven't put yourself to work. You haven't subdued that emotional side of you that insists on you being scatterbrained or you being all over the place at the same time. So I hope it helps you, Sister Blessing. So what you need to do is think about it. Why do I need the adrenaline rush to get things done? Why do I need to be laid back when there's work that needs to be done? What is making me be like that? Am I being controlled or am I in control? Right? So let me make that statement again. Am I being controlled by an external force or am I in control? So the question is, are you in control of your time? Are you in control of your emotions? And are you in control of your life structure? Okay? All right, sis, I'm sure that helps. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Okay. So let's quickly go into why this is important, why this session is important, and God will help us to do this in another 20 minutes, right? Godly leadership requires faithful stewardship of time, energy, and resources. To whom much is given, much is expected. If you are faithful in little, you'll be faithful in much. Those are biblical principles that follow us. So when you are asking God for things and you are praying for increase and expansion, ask yourself, am I faithful? Have I been faithful in the one that I have been given with my time, my energy, and my resources? The second thing is effective leaders operate within a margin, right? That means there is a border. You don't behave anyhow as an effective leader. There is always a border. There is something that guards you. There's a margin. There are things you cannot cross. There are places you cannot be. You just coordinate yourself. That's another reference to this structure I was referring to when I was talking about procrastination, right? Then you have to have clarity of purpose. Effective leaders operate with clarity of purpose. What am I doing? When am I doing it? How am I doing it? How do I organize myself? I was telling somebody in a training I had this last week, just recently, again on time management, right? And personal effectiveness for one of the big companies, right? I was telling them that if you do not know what you are supposed to do, how then do you allocate time to it? How do you then plan what you don't know, what you haven't thought through? So all these things kind of align. But for Christians, we have what we call the readings of grace. I hope you know. Grace is that the thing that you should have spent maybe 10 hours to do, you will spend two hours. Grace is the thing that helps us to be more effective as Christians. That doesn't mean we should be lazier and slower. No, Paul said, I labored more than all of you all. That means there is work for us to do, but we are conscious of God's grace to help us do more than we can do on our own. That's what that means. The next thing is delegation, right? And delegation is a form of trust. If you're a leader, or if you are somebody's colleague, or you are, in the same space with somebody and you ask them to do something for you, the first impression shouldn't be that you are shaking your responsibilities or something. No, the first is that you trust this person to handle it. That is why you are delegating. Who do you trust in your environment? Who do you trust in your circle? Have you been able to build that kind of space around yourself that there are people you can entrust to do things for you, right? Delegation is a form of trust. You must be able to find people that you can trust, right? It's also a form of humility that tells us, oh, you can't do everything by yourself. You have to give other people the opportunity to help you or to do what is within their expertise. Let me give you an example. Look at Henry Ford that innovated the Ford cars. Henry Ford didn't originally know anything about cars. He just really wanted to own cars. So what did he do? He hired experts that knew how to build cars, and they took his ideas and turned it into tangible vehicles that we can now see, right? That is a form of delegation. Knowing who has more power in an area than you doesn't make you less of yourself, right? And it also shows team empowerment, right? If you lead a team here, like I see some of my leaders in WOW are here, right? If you lead a team here, the more you give people work to do, it doesn't mean you want to overwhelm them or stress them. It shows that you want to empower them. People learn on these things. There are people that work closely with me, even here in WOW, that I have had to teach things. Now they are empowered, they know it. Next time there's a task to do, they don't need to ask me again. They can just go ahead and do it because they have learned, right? So delegation helps people learn. It helps you also to trust people, right? And to empower people. And the last one, organization. Organization is just more than tidiness and arranging things, right? When you say somebody's organized, what we are saying is that the person is ready, is always ready to get things done. And the person prioritizes, right? The person prioritizes. Okay, I hope everyone is with me and you can hear me. Just send me a thumbs up on Zoom. On Telegram, I may not be able to hear you or something, but if you're on Zoom, you can just send a thumbs up, say yes, yes, we can hear you. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, right. So some scriptures you want to check to note Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15 to 17, right? It says, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity. Some other translations will say, redeeming the times. That means that it is expected for you as a Christian, as an adult, to be able to make the most of every opportunity. It is expected of you to be organized. That is what is called careful. That is what is called wise, right? Exodus chapter 18, verse 17 to 23 says, he learned to delegate leadership responsibility. Why? Because he became overwhelmed, right? And then the Lord says, I will take off the spirit on you and put on others. And then he put on the other elders, and they were able to do the work that Moses had been carrying alone, right? That is what it is. That's why, as a good leader, you keep praying for your leaders to excel in their roles. Because the more they do well, the better you become, because you are leading them. That means all of you together as a team become more effective and you have better results, right? So it's not to outshine anybody. No, we need to all be equipped and empowered and grow together. And then the last scripture I'll give you is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40. Let all things, that's the Bible, all things be done decently and in order. Now, it's not, even for me, I'm not so organized all the time. But I realize that the days where I prioritize, the days where I have a list of things to do, the days where I schedule my week and things like that, I am more effective, right? I have more results. The days where I'm planning ahead, the days where I'm prioritizing what really matters, I am more effective, right? So that is very critical, very important for us to know that, for you to know that you need to be able to begin to prioritize, right? But there's something that women believe that has become a myth for all women, right? And it's called multitasking, right? Women now believe that multitasking is a gift that is given to women. And you are not wrong in a sense, right? In a sense, women have the capacity to do a lot of things at the same time. However, why it is called the myth of multitasking is because when the brain, scientifically, the brain cannot do more than one thing at the same time. But the brain can do a million things one after the other, right? We are the ones that go to sleep. The brain doesn't sleep, it's still working. But in each time, it's called the cognitive cost, right? Cognitive costs means that the brain takes in one thing, lodges it in like a box, like a shelf. It shelves it in a shelf, and then it takes the next thing and it does that, right? But if you are doing too many things at the same time, the brain will slow down. So then what happens is that if you could have done 10 things, one after the other in 1 hour, you will now be doing those 10 things all together, but you might now spend 3 hours doing them. So you might feel, because of euphoria, of course, that I'm being busy, I'm doing a lot of things, I'm cooking, I'm teaching my kids, I'm on the phone, I'm writing, I'm working, I'm washing, all those things at the same time. And you might feel good that you're doing it, but the brain tells us, the study of the brain tells us that it takes a longer time to do many things at the same time than it takes to do one thing at a time. I know some of you may not agree with me, but just take your time. You can go and experiment this, right? It says there's something called the time penalty that comes with multitasking. And it says that it takes 25 to 30% longer to complete tasks when you switch between them instead of focusing one at a time. In science, it's also called the cognitive switching penalty, right? Cognitive means that your mind recognizes the thing you're doing and logs it in. But then again, when you switch to do something else, it has to log out of that thing and go to do something else. Then you switch again, it has to log out again, right? I hope this is making sense to somebody, right? So you can do many things within a given period of time, but switching so fast between things will only cause a lag and make it longer, right? Now, according to study again, there is distraction comes to you every 3 minutes, even if you're alone, whether it's in your thoughts, your mind will just stray. to something else. We know it now, even when we are praying sometimes. You know, if you're praying and suddenly you're thinking about the soup that you cooked yesterday, or you're thinking about the movie that you watched, and you're like, how did I get there? That's the cost of distraction, right? It's called an interruption frequency. Your interruption frequency as a human being is every 3 minutes. Sometimes your mind doesn't log it, sometimes it logs it. So you might not know, but something happens to you every 3 minutes in life that can distract you. Do you see? Do you see how life can be, right? The power of focus is so important for us that even when the distractions come, we do not log it in because we are so focused on what we are doing. So we escape that distraction. Now, why it is important for you to have the power of focus in time management and not allow distractions to take you away is because the mind, the brain needs refocus time. Remember what I said about the cognitive penalty. I'm sorry if this is quite scientific, but I want you people to understand it from this perspective this time around so that you can use it, right? It says that the mind, when it keeps switching from one place to the other, then needs 23 minutes to refocus on one thing. And if it doesn't refocus on one thing and it keeps switching like that, it means that your productivity will be lost or will be reduced by 40%. Now, when this 40% reduction happens, that's why you do not perform at the highest capacity as you can. How many of you have noticed that sometimes you just don't perform well? You know you could have done better. What happened to me? That's the power of distraction. That's the power, that's the delay of refocus that our mind has to go through when we are distracted. Right. So I'm just saying guard against distractions as much as you can because it will remove you. It will remove you from what you're doing and disrupt your cognitive power so that you now have to start coming back to focus, right? And you will lose time. Okay, let me move. So I want to talk about three things that I think you must know, right? You must know these things to manage your time, to delegate properly, and to be organized. The first one is time. That time is fixed. You cannot do anything about the fact that you are limited to 24 hours daily. You can't change it. That is what it is. That is what we have agreed. Even though I know that there are reports here and there now saying that 24 hours is really not the right calculation. However, for now, we are in a fixed time of 24 hours daily, right? The second thing is energy. Energy is renewable, but it is limited. What that means is that you can renew your energy every time, right? When you feel tired, you can learn ways to renew your energy. For some people, you need a power nap. For some people, you take Red Bull or you take an energy drink. For some other people, you do some workouts or you run around. Some other people, you call a friend and they boost your energy, all that. We have energy boosters. However, your energy cannot be boosted beyond what your body can carry. So if your body, if you don't work out, right? If you don't have mental strength, you know, if you don't generally have a lot of energy, you can only renew your energy to the level at which your limitation stands. I hope that makes sense to everybody, right? So, but as a person, your energy fluctuates throughout the day. So it is very important for you to know when your energy is high and when your energy is low. Because what happens is that when your energy is high, you are way more productive. You're not struggling. Some of us are not morning people. So no matter how you do 9 to 5, you are lazy in the office. And they say you are lazy, but you are not lazy. It's just not your energy time. Your energy time might be in the night. All you night crawlers, when people are sleeping, that's when you're on fire, right? So you need to know. Some people's energy is in 2 hours bursts. Some people do 4 hours straight, and that's all they can do for the day, right? You need to study your energy level so that you know how to keep replenishing it and you can use it because it fluctuates all day. And then the last one is attention. Attention span. The good thing about attention is that it's so valuable. You need your attention. You need to pay attention, right? Because when you pay attention, you can put quality into what you're doing and get the best output of it, right? But attention is trainable. So it's up to you to determine the kind of attention you are able to give to things by training your mind, right? You cannot manage your time in a sense. I know we call it time management. You can't really manage it as it were because it's 24 hours, because it's fixed. But you can manage the energy you use within the time you are awake. I hope that makes sense, right? And that energy output is dependent on the attention that you can give during that time. So when you are at your energy boost, it's not the time to Netflix and chill. When you feel energetic, it's not the time to go and sleep or to go and just, no, that's when you put your productivity to work, because that's your energy, right? That's the time that you have energy. So you should map out your personal energy patterns. Let me say that again, and you can write it down. Map out your personal energy patterns so that you can know what to put into the work. Now, where is your time going, right? Think about it. Map your day out, right? Your whole day. What do you do? There's something I call a timesheet. I use a timesheet most of the time. Sometimes I'm not able to, but when I'm able to, I use a timesheet. And that just tells me, what do I do per time? When I wake up in the morning, I do devotion. So I tell everybody that meets here, because of the kind of life I live at this time, life comes in phases. So you must understand that in this phase of life, this is what I'm able to do with my time. Oh God, our time is almost up. So life comes in phases. I probably will have part 2 of this because I've not even gone far and we're already running out of time. So we'll probably do this again next week before we go to another topic. All right, so I'll try and round up now. I'm saying life comes in phases. So for me, waking up at 4 a.m. is what I have to do in this season of my life, because I have to put a lot of things in my morning belt. I'm a morning person and I'm also a night person. What that tells you is that I'm not an afternoon person. In the afternoon, I don't want to move. I just want to relax. I want to sleep. I want to chill. But in the night and in the morning, I have some more energy, so I can have meetings on meetings. I can attend all kinds of prayers and things like that. So you need to find for yourself where your energy patterns are. When you know that, then you can chunk things into it, right? It can help you plan ahead. You can have a good plan for your time. Why? Because you know your energy patterns, right? Understand the seasons of your life. Ecclesiastes 3 talks about seasons. Everything is in a season. A leader must discern what to say in a season, what to do in a season, who they are meant to be in every season. And by prayer, you know what to be doing. You know who you are, because you can be overcommitting to the wrong thing in the right season, right? And when you're committing to the wrong thing, you are always overwhelmed, you're always burnt out, and you are ineffective. People ask me, how are you able to pastor 2 teams? How are you able to run a consulting firm? How are you able to do your nonprofit? How are you able to do this and do that? You are so all over the place, you're so busy, blah, 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 but I'm not burnt out. In fact, I have time to watch my series and to do all those things in the night when I need to unwind. Why? Because I understand the season of my life right now. And so I'm living within my season. My question to you is, what season are you in? What is God emphasizing for you right now? If you are feeling guilty that, oh, I'm not working, I'm not doing this, I'm not leading, I'm not blah, 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 then you need to go back to God and say, what am I supposed to be doing right now that I'm not doing? What is the season of my life, so that I can know it and live fully in it, right? And I'll just say something about delegation before we close now, right? Delegation is like multiplication, right? It's shared responsibility. If you read the story of Moses in Exodus 18, and I want you to go and read it, because it reveals the power of shared responsibility. Right? When you delegate, you're not dumping the task, you're only helping to develop other people. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help, right? If you see that you are often overwhelmed with tasks that you don't know what you don't have to do, then you delegate them. If you see the task and say, I don't even need to do this at all, then you will delete the task, take it out. Let your time be precious to you. Don't become a bottleneck in your own process. I'll say that again. Don't become a bottleneck in your own process. Don't be robbing others of the opportunity to grow because you think that, you are not delegating or you're not helping them. No, you need to know there's something called the Eisenhower theory. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but there's something called the Eisenhower theory that says that, let me just see if I can share that with you very quickly. It's 4 boxes. There is the do box, there's the decide box, there's the delegate box, and there's the delete box. what we are saying is that the do box and the delegate box are the urgent boxes, right? They are the things that you might, sorry, the do box and the decide box are the important boxes. They are the ones you have to do it now, and you have to schedule a time for it. You need to be friends with your calendar so that you are scheduling things, and the alarm you set as a reminder, you obey it. Because some of us don't obey alarm. We'll fix it and we'll put it off and do what we want. No. So the things you must do right now are the things that are urgent. The things you must delegate right now are also kind of urgent things, right? You have people get it done. The things you decide to do are things you can schedule, so you can take your time to decide when to do them. But remember that there are always things that you can eliminate. They don't need you to do it. When you do it, you are wasting your time, right? You're wasting your time. I want you to think about the thing that women do. It's called the urgency addiction. Right? Some of us have the what is called the urgency addiction. That's what you have. You just want to do it quickly, just like Sister Blessing was saying. You want to just do it. We have to do it now. Hey, no, calm down. Calm down and work things out. Take your time to see how planning your day will help. I also have a trick. Anytime, thinking about it this morning, every time I spend up to an hour praying in the morning before my day is better. My day is just better. I'm in a better frame of mind. I'm a happier person that day. I'm nicer. My husband is happier because I am calmer, right? Because I spend time praying. So see, as I round up, I want to encourage you, study yourself. Take this week, 1 week we have to continue this topic next week. So Sister Lydia, please remind me that we are this part 1. We'll continue next week because I have a lot to say. Study yourself, and I need you to study these things. Number 1, what is your day like? So audit your day, your weekday. Let's not talk about weekends, because weekends you should do whatever you want. But your weekday, please, I'm giving you a task. Kindly audit your day from when you wake up to when you sleep. Remember, okay, maybe not remember, know this, that your day is meant to be planned in 8 hours 3 times, right? There's 8 hours for work, productivity, 8 hours. There is 8 hours that is supposed to be for rest and sleep. And then there's 8 hours that is supposed to build your social and relational life. This social and relational life is with your community, with your family, with your neighbors, and with God, right? Those are the major 3 blocks of your time. So audit your time to see how you are fulfilling these 3 blocks. That's your first task. Number 2 task is find your energy patterns of the day. When is your energy highest? When is it lowest? So that you put your productivity moments within the energy patterns, right? Also, right, when you find your energy patterns, find out what can help you boost your energy so that you do better every single time, so that you can get out of that downness, that thing, that lethargy that you begin to feel, right, when it's not your energy time, in case you need to be able to do that. So find that out for yourself. Then ask yourself, is there any reason why I'm not delegating? Is there any reason why I'm not asking for help? Because it might just be that you have an issue. There's some trauma somewhere. There's some misunderstanding somewhere. Maybe you are overrating yourself by trying to do too many things that you can delegate. A lot of women should have personal assistants to help you carry out things that you need to do so that you can focus on the most important things. Right, trust God. I know some people say, how will I pay them now? Wow, what are you saying? But you can really trust God to help you. All right, you can trust God to help you. Someone sent me a message today. I won't call her name because she's here. And she said, what do you need me to do for you? And I'm like, that's such a dangerous question to ask someone like me because I have a lot of things and I know your skills. All right, I can delegate. I can give you to get it done. So as we round up today, right, I want you to please take those tasks seriously. Think about it, audit your day, find your energy levels, and try and begin to get organized. Think about, why am I not as organized as I should be? What are the emotional things that are holding me from being organized? What are the structural deficiencies I have that causes me to procrastinate? Why are you not using a priority list? Why are you not scheduling the things you need to do, right? I want to tell you that if you try as much as possible to stay clear-minded, as much as possible, solve every issue, everything in your mind, stay prepared, it will help you, right? And also, make space for God, right? Make space for God to direct your path, tell you the season you are in, right? So that you know that you are committing to the things that are relevant for this season. All right, I'm ending here now. And next week, I'm going to take it deeper and talk more. I hope that this has been a blessing to you. If it has, can I just have one person anywhere, either Telegram or Zoom, just unmute and and just tell me how this has blessed them, or if there's something they have learned very quickly before we end the session tonight. Anyone?
Because I didn't know that, I guess I didn't know, I never knew that there was a time there was anything called energy pattern. And of course, I probably would have been operating with it, but not really knowing it, because you just sometimes you're just like, I'm not thinking it was functioning. I can't see myself function. And then I wake up in the night, maybe I went to the bathroom, I just sit down and I'm just walking, and I'm like, is this normal? How can I be walking in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
But I've come to realize that, okay, so I'm normal. So it's just for me to recognize it and take my hand.
And make the best use of it. Make the best use of it.
Thank you. Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. So, thank you so much, everyone that joined. We had such a good number today. Please remember.